Well, good morning, everyone. I am responding to a question that somebody asked me in the upper tribe. Someone sent me a private message, and I wanted to respond to that to just kind of deal with something I think is a really important topic, and that is this: is how do I create more fulfillment in my life? Especially right now, there's so much going on. There's so many things going on. It's hard to just be present and hard to get to a place of how do I contend with some of the things that I really need. And don't hear me wrong, I just want to kind of put this out up front is, all the world is not necessarily designed just to make you happy. There's going to be times when things are not great and they're challenging, and you're going to have those moments. However, even in those moments, you can have a sense of contentment and fulfillment and satisfaction, even in the midst of trials, even in the midst of challenges. And this is what people don't understand, is they think it's either or, and it's not. It's an and both. You can still have challenges and still have fulfillment, because here's a couple things you have to know. Growth requires resistance. Anytime you push out to go do something different, every time you try to push out to do something better, whether it's working out in your physical body, whether it's trying to eat right and get healthy, those take disciplines. There's a sense of resistance. Anytime you want to get ahead in work, there's going to be other people vying for maybe that role or that position, and that's going to create resistance. Anytime you're trying to bring transformation politically, racially, all of these things are requiring resistance. Resistance is the key to transformation. And so fulfillment can be in the process. Don't forget that. And so I want to give you the facts behind what I believe creates fulfillment. So those are the 5 things, and this is the acronym for FACTS. The first thing is family and friends. And this is where, as men, oftentimes we trip over ourselves. We're not a place where we are being fulfilled in our marriages, fulfilled in our fatherhood, fulfilled in having a brotherhood. Sometimes we're not good at these things. We don't prioritize relationships. We don't find ourselves being able to be present enough to have great relationships. We're in this place where we feel like there's an ongoing anxiety and stress. And I'm going to talk more about that here in just a minute. And we allow the power of those things to supersede the power of the things that actually bring fulfillment. We'd rather focus on work where maybe we feel like we can be successful than turn back home where we feel like we're less successful. It makes it hard to be a good spouse. It makes it hard to be a good father when you're thinking of yourself as being more successful in one place. It's hard to get into alignment to come back and then feel like you can be successful in this other place, right, with your family. That can change dramatically when you decide that you're going to make a difference in how you show up and you're going to be present. And I won't go into all that. That's a whole nother thing that I work with my clients about. By the way, if you wanted to drop in below, where are you listening from, where you dial into, I'd love to see how you're experiencing my little share with you this morning. Also in the upper tribe, you're going to get more of this. I'll dive in deeper, uppertribe.com. So here's the second piece to all this in just the facts. Action. Action and accountability. A lot of times we're not experiencing fulfillment because we have acquiesced to life. We have settled for what we're experiencing, and as such, we're allowing that to dictate the realities of how we measure things in our life. And what that means is you are allowing the things around you to dictate how you feel about yourself. You're allowing them to dictate what's possible. You're allowing them to dictate what you deserve or what you're worth. And you're abdicating that. You're acquiescing You're allowing that to make the rules. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can take action on things that you know in your heart you need to take action on. Maybe you need to look for a new role. Maybe you need to go after that promotion. Maybe you need to jump out and start your own company. Maybe you need to ask that girl out. Maybe you need to take a trip with your wife. Maybe you need to, make that new product. What is the thing that's in your heart that you see yourself doing, that you see as a purpose, you see as a cause that you are not taking action on? That's creating frustration. And it's misalignment in your life. You are not feeling aligned and congruent with your purpose and your person. And so it might require that you get some accountability for you to take some action. You need a mentor, you need a coach, you need a guide, you need a friend, you need to make a Facebook post that's very public and saying if you don't do this thing, you'll make a sizable contribution to something you despise. Like, you got to hold yourself to some kind of prescribed deadline to create some scarcity so that you will take action. Create some kind of a deadline and accountability so that you will take action. The third piece in just these facts is clarity. Man, nothing is more frustrating than having no idea what's going on. Uncertainty. Right now, 2020, massive uncertainty. And it's hard to feel fulfilled and satisfied when we don't know what's coming around the corner. Maybe we're in a place where we've been furloughed. We've been in a place where we lost our job. We've been in a place where we're experiencing very hard issues around racial equality and this whole political political atmosphere we're in. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff that creates uncertainty. However, don't try and boil the ocean. Like, you can only do what only you can do. Like, what is it about you and your family and the people around you that you have influence over right here, right now? Getting present with that will help you find clarity. And let me explain clarity. Oftentimes we think, like, clarity is, I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I want to go to New York City. In 5 years, I want to be in New York City. So between now and then, I'm going to start on my walk. And I'm going to find out, what freeways I should probably follow, what pathways I should follow, where I should stop to sleep, where I should stop to eat, where I should stop to use the restroom. Like, I'm trying to map that all out over the next 5 years so that I land in this place that I want to land, New York City. That is not clarity. That is prediction. That is some kind of sorcery. And you're trying to predict the future. The truth is, 5 years ago, you didn't know you'd be where you are today. You had no idea. And as a result, like, you think, like, you're going to be able to predict where you're going to be in the next 5 years. That's not clarity. Like, that's guessing. Instead, from Nashville, I know that New York is northeast. And so I set my compass to point me in a direction, right? And now clarity is, what's the first step I need to take? And as I take this first step and I see that, the next step will make itself seen. It will reveal itself organically and naturally. And here's why this is important. So many times we're trying to get an expected outcome and we end up trying to grab and grip the timing and what it's supposed to look like. And we're like spending all in this energy to exert ourselves to get this thing to happen. But the reality is, you can let go and allow this thing to organically come about on its own. And the element to that is understanding that where you are in life is a product of where you've been. Everything that you've been about is a tuition you have paid to get where you want to go, right? To get to where you are. And you're going to continue to take steps and go in a direction that's going to take you to this achievement you want to accomplish. And in that achievement you want to accomplish is some kind of ambition. It's a position. It's something. But all you have to know is, what is that trajectory to get me there? Now, clarity is far simpler than we've made it. We want to see far beyond, and all we need to see is right before. I hope that helps you with that clarity, because that's a big issue. And the next piece of this, and just the facts, are your teams. Like, what is the team you need to build? Like, do you need to delegate? Do you need a virtual assistant? Do you need to replicate yourself? Do you need to train someone else and mentor someone to do some of the things you've done, so that you can then give them the responsibility and now free yourself up to focus on other things? A lot of times, especially with some of my clients, they're high performers, and so they're able and capable of doing many things. And what they do is they become the bottleneck of their dreams. They become the bottleneck of their companies, because they're trying to do all the things. And furthermore, we say, well, nobody else can do it because they're all, incapable. They're not smart enough. They're not They're not leaders. They're just followers. These are the things we tell ourselves when we have become the bottleneck. And the truth is, you can learn to delegate. And many times when you find yourself without people around you to take some of the responsibility, it's because of a couple things. Number one is perhaps they've never been given the opportunity. Maybe you've never got to see them shine because you haven't allowed them to. You've been a bit of a control freak. You've been in a place where you didn't trust other people. So building out teams can be kind of scary. Another component of it is maybe you haven't hired properly. You can take responsibility for that and now change some of the ways that you hire and bring new people onto your team, into your company. Building out the appropriate teams with the right standard operating procedures, without systems and procedures in place that help people to be effective, and making the systems repeatable and easy to understand and easy to replicate. Like, these are all things that can be changed. And the more you create these kinds of teams, the easier your life can become, and the more fulfilled and satisfied you can be in what you're building. Lastly, and this is the most important, is stress management. So often, I'm having conversations with people who don't know how to process their stress. Like I said earlier, it's like right now especially, we're feeling this underlying tone of anxiety, and it's affecting our days. It's affecting perhaps our sleep. It's affecting our sense of self and our future and our sense of certainty. These are the things that you have to be able to find what works for you. One of those things might be you need more sleep. Nothing is worse than being deprived of energy. Sleep is a major factor to helping you think clearly and to make decisions appropriately. Water, staying hydrated, keeping your body in its state of focus, oftentimes comes from hydration. Exercise helps you to work out some of the chemicals that are in your body from these unnecessary stress and anxiety. It's the things that will push out toxins and help activate other chemicals in your body that are far more complementary. Your dopamine and your serotonin and all these other chemicals that make your body feel better and operate in more optimized states. The other parts of stress management are dealing with addiction. Oftentimes we will cope with pain and stress through some other means. Maybe it's smoking, maybe it's drugs, maybe it's porn, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's some kind of other addiction that is taking you into a place that is not serving you well. Stress management is critical to you finding fulfillment and satisfaction, because when you look in the mirror, the man you see yourself to be is what's possible. And if you're carrying the weight of any of these other things, whether it be shame or guilt or pain, you're going to be in a place where you cannot perform at your best, at your highest. Fulfillment and satisfaction comes by seeing the man you need to be and operating from that level. And that's a whole nother conversation I work with my clients about, creating new identities around yourself, creating a new understanding of yourself, and then doing the exercises and the routines that create a new sense of self. And it elevates your inside so that you can maximize your outside. I talked to them about that last night. So if you missed that, this is on my personal page. Yeah, so it's still on my personal page. You can go back to the last Facebook Live I did and learn more about that. So that's what I have for you today, is about finding fulfillment and satisfaction in your life. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If you want to hear more stuff like this, go to the Upper Tribe. Go to uppertribe.com. That will take you to my Facebook page. Totally free. It's here to serve you. And I want to make the things that I am learning contagious. I want to help you get to a place where you can take some of these truths and activate them in your life. I want you to sense a feeling of motivation and inspiration and power in your world. You do not have to acquiesce to all that's going on. You can live from a place of positivity. You can live from a place of optimism. You can live from a place of abundance. It is possible. And that's my hope for you. I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks so much. If you need anything, ping me, and I'll see you in the Upper Tribe. Take care.